we doing, YouTube? Stevie here. Oh, it is Monday. I don't know what the date is. 28th, October 28th or something like that. 8 days to the election anyway. I couldn't make up my mind if I wanted to do a trucking video today or an election video. So I thought I'd do an election video. And I just got home about dark time. This camera makes it look like it's lighter than it is. My security light's on in the yard. We're going to talk a little bit about politics today, I guess. And basically, I guess it's been a kind of an interesting weekend. Kamala has a big event tomorrow, her big event. I don't know if it's her last big event. Trump had a big event on Sunday in New York. We're going to talk about that for a moment. And then, of course, Kamala's got her big event. I think it is tomorrow, isn't it? In Washington, at the same spot where Trump had his big speech before those crazies trying to ruin just about everything in America by walking into the Capitol, which they obviously should have known that they should not have done. The march and the protest was perfectly fine. I don't know what that noise is. Something is banging. And I'm not sure what it is. But if you hear that, I don't know what it is. But it's been doing it for a bit. Anyway. So yeah, she's going to have her big thing, I think it is tomorrow. And of course she will go on about how President Trump is a evil Hitler, hates America, hates everything, and she won't call him Satan, but she will refer to him as, she might use the Hitler word, I don't know, but she'll definitely insinuate that that's who he is, and that'll rev up her base, and that's what her final message for the last week's kind of been anyway, so she's not going to deviate much too far from that Trump is Hitler-like, if not Hitler reincarnate, and that pro-abortion, more abortions, and if you think you've aborted enough, abort some more. Never enough, celebrate your abortions. First week, 8 month, third week, she doesn't care. Just more of them. And so that's her message. And it resonates with a lot of people. So, dance with the girl that brought you, as they say. And that's what she's going to do. And then the press will gin everything up for her. And the press is so terrible. We could go on for weeks and weeks about how horrible they are. Partially, it's not a wonder that people vote the way they do, as ill-informed as they are. But I don't know. When it comes to the abortion cult, I think they'd vote that way anyway, so it probably doesn't make any difference what the press says, but that's just my opinion. So let's get to President Trump a little bit. He was on Joe Rogan last week, as everybody's seen clips, I'm sure, by now, and did a real good job, as he always does. He can sit there and talk like that for days. He should do more of those and less of rallies. He'd be better off electorally, I think. Electorally, as my opinion. When he gets on the what do you call it? The rallies, he gets into performer mode, and he feeds off that crowd and likes to get the crowd wound up. And then that's where he kind of says stuff that maybe he would not really prefer that he had said. He might not even, let me rephrase that. He says some things that the campaign might wish that he hadn't said. I don't know that he wishes he said it or not, but the campaign, it's definitely not beneficial from the campaign strategy. And it seems like that both camps have kind of leveled in on Trump's going to try to drive the male vote, especially African American and Latino fellas, and Vice President Harris is going to push, especially all women, but especially for suburban, college-educated women. That and college-educated people in general, but women in particular. And she does really well with minority folks who are college-educated as well. She does good with all women, but that other group she does really well with as well. So she's going to push for them. So, Trump doing a lot of what he does, ginning up his base. It's kind of what she's doing as well, but, of course, he gets more grief for it. But he did a good job on Joe Rogan. And then we get to the big doings on yesterday in New York, which most of it was really good. But two things. Everybody knows what the controversy is about that comedian. If you're a comedian and you're in that position, you're there because you want Trump to be successful. And how he could do some of the material that he did, as Megyn Kelly had said tonight or today on her show, it was time, place, something. She had 3 words, and that material in that time at that place was not the right choice, because it undercut, overshadowed, and was totally disruptive to what the goal was, which was to try to make President Trump more appealing, and that did not help with those comments. And the other thing, and I didn't really notice. I noticed it after Megyn Kelly said it. I didn't notice it. I didn't watch the whole thing. I just kind of was in and out, and then I watched clips from it of the speakers that I liked. She said it was very, how did she phrase it? Bro-centric, or something like that was the phrase she used. And she was clear. It didn't bother her any, but she could see how that could affect some of the women that Trump would like to win. If you're an undecided, and I don't know how many of those there are, but if you're an undecided suburban woman, and maybe your husband's going to vote for Trump, but you haven't quite decided, you're telling him you're going to vote for him because you don't want the headache, and that goes vice versa both ways. Black men don't tell their wives that they're going to vote for Trump. That community has made perfectly clear that the black women of America are supporting Kamala, and that is the end of that sentence. And the men, as the one girl said, she said, if you don't vote for her, don't come home. The couch will not even be available to you. Oh, I can hear an African American woman saying that too. Oh. Anyway, yeah, I know he's trying to drive out the base and up the base and everything, which is critical. But it's kind of been through this whole campaign that I think there was some of them women that were gettable. And I don't know that changing the tone at times or softening that image a little bit would have hurt you with the male vote. But they didn't seem to push for it, and I don't know why that was. I mean, they do get a lot of women vote, but it's just okay. If he loses, I think that will be where we will look back, and will be one of the spots where you kind of wonder, maybe that wasn't quite where we wanted that to be, tonally. But, 9:24 already. Anyway, long story short, nobody knows who's going to win. Don't let anybody tell you they do. The polls are all tight as ticks. He could win with 350 electoral votes, and she could win with 350 electoral votes. All of these battleground states, they're within margins of error or really close. And don't forget, the Hillary people felt this exact same way that the Republicans are feeling 8 years ago. And look what happened to her. So, God bless everybody, and we'll talk again soon and try to keep our heads down before Election Day. God bless.